Hey guys, how are
Hey
you?
everyone,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is
welcome.
Charlene,
And this is Laude,
Biggie
your
Mana,
mana.
and yeah, we are happy to be here for our first official video,
Yes,
right?
together.
And today we're talking about how to plan together as a married couple for a fantastic 2025.
Yes. So, how do we go about that? There is a different.
Well, first of all, tell the people how long we've been a married couple. Tell them the best thing about marriage and and the most difficult thing about marriage.
Agira bimvugishe byose.
Byose
Okay.
byose byose urabivuga.
We've been married almost 8 years now.
Mm-hmm. What
It's
was the
been
best thing? I don't know. What's the best thing to you in marriage?
the best thing is to be married. To have someone else to do life with,
Mm.
a close companion, and someone that you can trust, and and that you can, um, that can act as a counselor, as someone that is already there, always there, and you share common goals and common vision of life. Yeah, so I think that is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the hard part is
Exactly that.
the whole journey, my dear, the whole journey. The adjustment that you have to do as a couple. The yeah, the adjustment. You guys, we come in this institution called marriage. We are two different people, two different personalities that are coming together, and then you are supposed to do life like that, du jour au lendemain, as we said in
Mm-hmm.
French, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty hard because it requires an adjustment. You have to be willing to to die, to die to yourself. Really, like it. There is no other word I was trying to find, but yeah, it's to dying to self. What does that mean practically? It means that I learn to put my interest um, at last, and then to put her interest at first, and I learned that it's not load at 100% anymore, like 100% what I want, 100% what what I've been doing. It's 50%, literally. You give away 50% of you, of your,
Sometimes you give away more.
yeah, your liberty, your choice, because you may like things to be done this way and the other person wants this way, and you need to find a compromise,
Do you
right?
have a specific example you want to share?
Yes. So um I went to the States, even before getting married to Charlene. I went to the state to visit her. It was specifically to do our premarital counseling there, and then I'm someone who loves people around me. Like, I thrive having people around me, right? That's how I get energized. And
You are an
then,
extrovert.
yes, and then she wanted to organize a party for me and with a friend of mine, etc. And and I was excited about that. So, but at the same time, it was our first time really being together for a long time. I was coming from Africa, and it was a long journey, right, getting there. And my dear wife decided that she didn't necessarily want to, like, um, to have a lot of people, like, specifically, especially in that moment of our life, like she wanted to have me for herself for that period, like at the beginning of the relationship. She wanted to have like um
Quality time with you.
quality time, yeah. And
Okay,
then
babe, let me give my version.
wait, and then that was our first fight because I was like, okay, there is no way.
You
There is
wanted
no
to
way.
travel to different states to go visit people. And I was like, sir, did you come to see me and do the premarital counseling with me? Chang, hey, did you come to explore all of the United States of America? Right? So
Yeah, it was one state. It was
it was
a
two
whole.
states.
Yeah,
You
it was
wanted to
two
leave
states.
Pittsburgh, go
Yes,
to
that's
DC,
correct.
you wanted to go to Texas, you wanted to go to all the places. And we only had like 3 weeks together.
Yeah,
In those 3 weeks, I was working still full time.
all right.
So we didn't really have time together. And those were the 3 weeks we were going to see each other
That's correct.
before we, before you go back home, and
Yeah,
then I would stay back in the state and come back the week we were getting married. So you
yeah.
guys, I was like, there is no way. There is no way. There is no Nivyumvika. There is no way.
But okay, sorry.
But
Go
what?
ahead.
Oh yeah, bivuge byose.
Urumva, she was at work for the most part,
No,
like
no, we're
the whole
traveling
week.
during
So
the
I was
day.
like, let me go like during your
During the
work
week.
hours, during the week, and then like spend there a day or two and then come back.
So first
I
of
mean,
all,
I had the whole month, right? Planned.
you did not have a whole
I
month.
was
You had
asking
like three
for, I
weeks.
don't know, 4 days
Not
maximum.
4 days. You're not asking for 4 days. You're asking for a whole trip to DC. You were asking for a whole other trip to Texas, Lord. Okay,
You
so
see,
it was definitely not.
you see what I mean when I say 50%. Now I I realized that I had to ask permission, right, to do
So
what
you guys,
I
true
would
story.
normally do, right?
Do you
So
remember how we went to counseling that day? We went to
we're so
we were
mad.
so mad. This was our
Oh my
attitude.
god.
Can you see me?
Ibere,
Imbera Pastor.
Pastor.
And he was like, wow, so how are you guys doing? And I
Yeah,
was so mad. I was like,
yeah,
he doesn't want to be with me. And he wants to just travel and see people, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah.
And, you know,
And I was like, Jay, wait. I was
ndagiye
like, no, no, no,
kubohwa
no, no.
ngiye mu
Just
gasho.
Jengi Mugash. You won't work. I'm sorry, but this is not for me. This is. I was like, sorry, Pastor. This
Oh
is
my
not for me.
gosh. It was interesting. It was,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
something, but we learned a lot.
Yeah, we also learned that there is a period of incubation and there is a period where you need to protect your relationship and you need to spend that time together and you need to, I don't know, learn about each other.
mm,
And there will always be time to travel to DC and to Texas and to all the places.
yeah, and to be honest with you, that's where the pastor was really, really helpful because
Mm.
he helped me realize that there is nothing wrong with wanting to have people around you, and there is nothing wrong with her approach of wanting to have one-on-one time together.
Mm.
But because of the moment that we're in, with all the preparation, with her not being in Burundi and preparing the wedding, etc., she needed that time, right, with me specifically, and I understood, right? I grew up with four brothers. I mean, we're
Byarakugoye
four
mugabo.
brothers.
You finally understood.
I had no girl in my family, and now I'm dealing with this
Lord
this
naramubwiye
this
yuko
beautiful lady.
plus three
Who,
other kids, three other girls.
yeah.
So you have four girls. I told Lord
No, I
that.
was saying, I was specifically speaking about that period before
Yeah,
the kids. But
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
now I'm
No, it's true.
surrounded by
Girls.
girls
So you
everywhere.
must learn how to communicate with girls,
I'm a
and
dad girl.
yeah,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love it. And I learned a lot. So Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to respond. Also, something else that we learned throughout this journey
Mm.
was the concept of season. It's really, really important to understand that specifically at that time we're in a season where we're preparing the wedding, etc. And for other period during our marriage, it was maybe having a kid, and then raising them. They are still young, etc. So each season
Mm.
of your life as a couple, you need to understand it, to know that there is a beginning and there is an end, right? Now
Mhm.
we do things together, we travel together, we go visit friends and family, we invite people over home, etc. And we learned how to balance each other.
Mhm.
For example, this week, if we are inviting people, I'm sure that the actually I make sure that the week after we do not invite or
Host. Mm.
host, um simply because we need to balance our two personalities, and it's
Mm.
fine.
Mm.
It's fine that way. And coming going back to the season, if you understand that the season that you are in, because we tend to think about it as something that will last forever. Like, okay,
Mm.
this is
I can't do this. Mm.
as I was saying, right?
Mhm.
This is a prison. This is no. It's just for that specific season, right?
Mhm.
After that, you will get to travel together. You will get to do things together, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I think that in premarital counseling, when we were super, super upset at each other, our pastor told us
Mm.
that Laude's approach of, because another thing was New Year's. How do we celebrate New Year's? And I think it's important that we say that I am an introvert, although people see me on social media and they think that I'm extroverted and I'm always out there. Like, that is definitely not me. If you actually know me, I am definitely not out there. I am not. I love my alone time. I'm very, very happy, with just like very, very close friends of mine, and that's it.
Mm.
So I'm not really an extrovert, but Lord is an extrovert. So his idea of New Year's and my idea of New Year's and the way we grew up, for me, we always had maybe 2 or 3 families over, and that was it. So it was very intimate, and small. Lord, how was your New Year's?
Oh, a lot of people. Like, we would invite literally the whole neighborhood.
Yeah,
Literally. Um, you know, um,
yeah.
yeah, friends, family. It was, a
Whoever wants to
time
come.
for celebration.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's New Year's for me.
So imagine putting those two personalities together and then tell them, Happy New Year,
Mm.
celebrate, right?
Mm.
So again, Lord wanted something big. I wanted something very intimate. And our pastor was like, there is nothing wrong with Charlene's approach and there is nothing wrong with Lord's approach. And I think that's the first time we realized that we don't necessarily have to go at each other.
Mm.
Like, we don't have to prove a point, right? Like, his approach is not necessarily wrong. My approach is not necessarily wrong. It's just maybe one year we'll host and have a lot of people, or go to like a big party and see hundreds of people. And then another year, we'll
Mm.
chill.
And you know
And
what?
it's fine.
Yeah, by doing that, actually, you even learn a lot because you are a certain way. But maybe for me, because I'm not necessarily an introvert, when I get that lonely time, I feel like I needed that,
Mm,
right? So there
mm,
is a time where you have to
mm.
learn to reflect.
Yeah.
There is a part of you that is missing that, but you don't know.
Mm,
And even for her,
mm-hmm.
like even trips, like she can go like work and without taking vacations, etc. So I'm the one who bring those type of subjects, like
Yeah.
we need to stop, we need to
Yeah.
pause, let's go on vacation, let's do this, right? So um
And with time,
and
we
then
have
when
learned
we are
to
there,
listen to each other.
exactly, when we
Mm.
are in, on vacation, for example, then she realized how much she needed that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think it's a good balance,
Mm.
and God has a good reason of putting two people so different together.
Yeah.
We balance each other,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is. It's hard at first, but
Mm.
once you understand that, Lord and I like to say, we are not against each other. Like, I did not wake up this morning with the intention of hurting you. So
Yeah.
even if I hurt you today, it's not because I wanted to.
Mm.
It's because, I don't know, it's an accident or we're not seeing eye to eye.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, we are on the same page. So
Yes.
what we learned is that we win together and we lose together. Instead of him deciding to, like, oh, okay, whatever, I'm gonna fly to Texas and go
Mm.
alone, we decide we win together or we lose together. So
Yeah.
maybe we're gonna lose together. And you know what, sometimes I lose, sometimes he does, and it is what it is. Like, that's part of marriage, that's part of life, that's
Mm.
part of adulthood, period. You know,
Yeah.
you don't always win, like,
Mm.
ni ivyo nyene, huh?
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that we still keep the unity.
Mm.
We stay together,
Mm.
even if it is not necessarily my preference.
Mm.
We would rather win together or lose together.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with understanding the concept of seasons, you understand that since we've been married, Laude has had to go back to school, for example. So when he was doing his master's degree, I was taking on a lot more at home with our responsibilities, with the kid, with the one kid at a time. It was a lot, and it was a season. It's not forever. He's not gonna stay in school forever. I'm not gonna be doing more at home forever, right? So, now with me writing the book, right, it was a lot of Laude having to sacrifice and to give me space so that I can work, so that I can do things. And then he would take all three kids and he would go to the mall and walk around or do whatever, so that I can have like 2 hours of quiet time and I can focus. But we knew it was a season, right? We did long distance relationship. It was for a season. We knew that it was gonna end. So focusing on the big picture and not being like, oh my gosh, yes, of course it's hard, but not being desperate, I think, is what I'm trying to say. And losing yourself is a great way to plan your year and say, okay, maybe the next 3 months are gonna be hard, but then it's not gonna be all of 2025. So let me stay focused. Let me remember that we are winning together, we are losing together.
Yes. And what I wanted to add to that is to have a common vision. Common vision is important. You said we talked about the season, but why are we doing that, right? If we have a common vision, we know exactly where we are going, then it becomes easier to say, okay, in this season, I'm going back to school because we have a goal. We have discussed this, right? And we are willing to pay the price for this amount of time because if it is for the common good of the couple, of the family. And then this time around, this season, is Charlene. She's working on the book, and then she can go, and so I will support her, right? And after that, maybe it's gonna be another season, and that season it's me, right? And she has been, for example, supporting me through my work journey. I've been getting promotions and changing work jobs and um, getting promotions and stuff like that. But that is something that we do that people don't necessarily see. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Um, but she's supporting me in that area, and it is important for the family because we are building together.
Mm.
Again, remember the concept of the company. We work in different departments,
Departments.
right? She may be working on this, I'm working on that. The the balance is to say, okay, where is the vision,
Mm-hmm.
what is the vision, and because of the vision, then we are willing to sacrifice this amount of time on this and this amount of time on this,
Mm.
and then we grow together.
Mm.
Not growing, not her only supporting me
Mm-hmm.
when I needed that, or me supporting her, but
Supporting each other
supporting
depending on
each
the
other
season.
and growing
Mm.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
the long term vision is important to 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 focus on that.
Mm.
Yeah, as we advance in life. And another thing is to have like the long term vision. Sometimes we tend to have, we want everything right now, and what
Mm.
we have learned is what we are doing right now. We are preparing the next 5 years. We are preparing the next 10 years, right? So what we are doing today will definitely impact how we will be doing at that time.
Mm.
So we don't have any issue investing today for that time,
Mm.
and a year becomes nothing to
Yeah.
really, when you have a 10-year goal.
Goal in mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
We met someone. Actually, yeah, we met someone who was telling us that they had maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 kids in Canada. And they were telling us that during that time, they were saying no to so many invitations because
Mm.
getting all the 5 kids ready, taking them in the car, taking them to the party, getting them out of the car, getting them back into the car, right? And coming home again and taking 5 kids who are asleep in the car into the house was such a hassle that they decided that for that season of their lives they were not going to be accepting invitations, right? So we call that like tunnel vision.
Mm.
And when you are in a tunnel, if you're driving in a tunnel, it's like this.
Mm.
You are not really looking left and right. You are
Mm.
focused on
Mm.
where you are going. So it's very important that as a married couple, you have vision,
Mm.
tunnel vision. Sometimes Lord calls it like you have to put up the windows in the car, like ukazigira fume.
Mm.
And then you drive
You drive.
ukagenda kabisa utariko uraraba ibintu biriko uraba hanze, because you have to be focused. And I think it takes us to another point, which is like to talk about the strength and weaknesses of the couple, right? So there are some things that I absolutely hate doing and that Lord absolutely loves doing, right? So if he absolutely loves doing that, why not let him do it and then I focus on other things? For example,
I
do,
know what you're about
do
to
you know
say.
the example I'm gonna give?
All
Yeah.
the administrative work.
Yes, yes, you
That's
guys. I
that's me.
hate filling out paperwork. I hate, doing passport renewals and all of that. It just annoys me greatly. I don't have time for it. To me, it is such a waste of time. But Lord loves it. So praise God, okay?
Yeah.
Like, the
I
dude
love
is
to
gonna
have
do
the
that.
papers in order.
Right. And Lord hates folding clothes. So
Yes.
I fold all the clothes. I don't care. Like, I will fold clothes for days. I don't mind. I really don't mind. Like, I'll put up my headphones and listen to something or watch whatever. And then I'm like, happy. I'm happy folding clothes. And Lord will not.
Oh my god.
I think, have you
like,
ever folded clothes in the 8
no.
years we've been married? He has
No,
never, okay?
To be honest, I don't like
But
it.
I have not had to fill out paperwork. So we're good. We're great, you know?
Yeah, so I call it, you have to do your SWOT analysis, like the SWOT of the couple, strength, weaknesses, opportunities,
Threats.
and threats, right? So you have to know exactly. You have to do an analysis of the couple, like what are our strength, what are our weaknesses, and you can do it even for yourself, right? We normally do it for the company, or or in the business world. But you know, but when you look at it that way, what are the opportunities for us as a couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can we work on that will improve our
Our life.
relationship, our
Mm-hmm.
life, our,
Mm-hmm.
in on different aspects,
Mm-hmm.
and what are just the threats?
Mm-hmm.
That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
That can destroy the couple,
Right.
and how can we make sure that we are working on that as well? So
Mm-hmm.
being realistic
Mm-hmm.
on the goals, on the vision, on supporting each other, and knowing
Yeah. Yeah. So
yourselves.
important. I remember in Pittsburgh, one of the pastors that I was serving under told me to write down my weaknesses and the threats, right? Like the things that can threaten my life. So if it's like, if someone has a weakness with, I don't know, men, for example, right? A girl that has weaknesses with men and who, will easily cheat or whatever, or someone who will have an issue with alcohol, or
Mm,
someone who has issues with gossiping, or
mm,
someone who has issues with, I don't know, watching porn,
mm,
or whatever the
mm,
topic is, to write it down and then to find accountability. First, say it to someone,
mm,
go and confess, say it to
mm,
someone, say, hey, I really, really struggle with this thing.
mm,
Can you please keep me accountable so that you have accountability and you have someone asking you, hey, have you done this lately?
mm,
Are you making sure that da, 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 da? Can someone have like your password for social media, right? Can someone enter into your stuff and like verify and make sure that you're not, doing dumb things and making like decisions that are going to completely destroy your life?
yeah.
So seeking that type of accountability,
Mm,
and I think as a couple also having like hard conversations
yeah.
about that and about, hey, what are really your weaknesses?
Mm,
Can I take it, or do you need to talk to someone else because it would be too triggering for me?
yeah.
How can we make sure that this is not happening again? Do we need to talk to a pastor? Do we need to talk to a wise couple that is in our lives? Can we agree on who to talk to, because we must agree
Mm.
on the person that we're going to talk to? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it can really, really, really save marriages.
to face that reality, because most of the couples, they ignore those
Mm.
type of things
Or
and
hide it.
or hide it,
Mm.
and that is the things that comes and destroy the couple,
Mm.
because they are threats, remember, and did not deal with that. And let me let me tell you, we are not saints, right? Everyone has a weakness. It is the human being
Nature.
nature, right? And seeking accountability, talking about it, um, putting in place boundaries.
Mm.
Note this, souligna, boundaries, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that you don't fall into the trap, right?
Mm.
Putting guardrails
Mm-hmm.
in place, like, and maybe this is another subject on boundaries. It's it's our favorite subject as a couple. We can go over and over on this, but it's really, really, really important.
Mm.
If you know that you have an issue, for example, with alcohol, you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to have alcohol in your, at your place,
Mm.
because you know that it's gonna be a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have a problem with money, then you may not be the
The one
person
to,
to
yeah.
handle that part.
Yeah.
Just recognizing your weaknesses
Mm.
and doing something about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
not just to say, yeah, it's my weakness, so
Too
what?
bad. Mm.
you know
Mm.
to put some guardrails in place.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, so when I visited, let me share a short story here. I told this story before, that I visited Charlene in the States. So I was living at a pastor's place, and then every day,
Mm-mm.
every
Let's give context.
okay.
So, first of all, you guys, I got saved in the States. I got saved in the States, and I got saved in an amazing church, and I was serving in that church. So they would tell you, ukuntu witwara, right? They would tell you like how can I say this? How to
Behave.
behave. Thank you. How to behave, what to do, what not to do. I am a single girl. Do I text a married man or do I text his wife? Can I go for coffee with the man? Like, what do you do? And they were very, very specific, which I love because I feel like a lot of people have not really had that, which to me was very normal. So I'm dating Laude. Laude is in Burundi. We are doing long distance. For me, they were telling us that because like I am a single girl, even if I would be a married woman, I do not text a married man. I text the wife of the man. I text the wife and I say, "Hi wife, how are you?"
But I didn't get the memo from Burundi.
Lord did not know this, which was common sense to me. It was like 1+1 = 2. Okay. So to me, it was like, I would text the wife. I would say, "Hi, wife, how are you? Da, 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 da. This is what I need. Can you ask your husband if blah, 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 blah." And then she would get back to me. If I was having, like, I was working for a specific pastor. So if I was traveling, for example, with that pastor, if there was no man in the car, we were not going in the same car. Even if we were driving to New York, you guys, we would drive 2 different cars not because you do not trust the person, right? But because you do not want to give the enemy a foothold. You do not want to give just a reason for the enemy to start, working stuff. For example, if I am driving every day to work with my neighbor, right? Let's say me and my neighbor work in the same building downtown, and then we say, "Oh, let's drive every day together," right? And then that day in the morning, Laude and I had an argument. So I go in the car, and then he sees that I have tears in my eyes. And then he's like, "Charlene, are you okay?" And then I would say, "Oh, no, I'm perfectly fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine." And then he would say, "No, Charlene. Oh my gosh, Charlene, tell me." What's going on? I'm like, "Oh my God." You guys, we are hugging before we know it. Like he's holding me in his arms. I'm crying on him. We did not mean to do that, but like it's happening now, right? So that's why they always taught us like put guardrails so far away that you do not even have that opportunity to be crying on each other or sharing like prayer requests or whatnot. So
Yeah.
that was me. That was what I was learning.
Knowing that, I'm coming from Burundi, where, to be honest with you, I used to come back home late from practice, for example, and you will be the
Singing
only
practice.
singing
Like
practice,
at church.
singing
Yeah.
practice at church,
Mm.
or you will be the only one in the whole choir having a car, or 2 people having just you have 2 cars and you are 50 people. So you not taking people home will be just, I don't know, unheard of, heartless, or any
Yeah.
bad thing that you could imagine. So for me, I came with that mentality where you serve your community, you serve the person that you serve with and you work with, and etc. So it's normal
That at 8 or 9 p.m., Laude is driving a girl
not
to
okay,
home.
maybe to like a group of people, let's say.
Yeah, but you
let's
have to
say
drop them all. So at the end, it's just you and another girl in the car.
maybe, yes, at the end. Okay. Yeah. But
And then I call. And Laude is like, "Oh, I'm driving and tell, I'm
yes.
driving them home. Let me call you back." And I'm like, "Sir, it's 8:30 p.m. in Burundi.
Yeah.
Who are you driving home?"
Yes, and culture shock right there. So I came to the States to visit her, going back to the story, and then I was living with a pastor, as I mentioned. I was on vacation. I didn't have anything to do
And I'm going to work.
during the day,
Mm-hmm.
because his wife was staying at home during the day, and he will go to work at 7 a.m. He will ask me to wake up every time and get ready at 7, and we'll drive together, not knowing where I'm going. And he will leave me at the coffee shop just for me to leave his house. He didn't want me to to stay at his place.
But it was not just you, right?
Yeah,
it was everybody. That was
yes.
just like the culture, right?
Yeah,
like
it was the
it was not
culture,
personal to you.
in the state. So I was shocked. I was like, these people.
And then he quickly understood
Yeah,
why I was the way I was.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I understood. Like, that was my first time understanding the concept of boundaries, right? So it's
Mugagashira.
interesting.
In Burundi, right? Like people get married and then bakashaka kuzanira nk'ubunyanga kandi kana kaza kubiwanyu or whatever. Do you know how many stories?
Yeah, and then you hear horror stories.
Crazy stories,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
People will do whatever is best for them.
Again,
But
it's a balance to be found within the couple.
yeah,
But it is important to talk
have
about
boundaries.
those things, to talk about boundaries, because I feel like there is some extreme.
Yeah.
In our culture, we tend to not have boundaries.
None, zero.
There is some boundaries. No, there is some boundaries.
It's Ikecha.
Zirahari.
If you really
Mugabo,
look hard.
you can fall easily into into the trap. Ahandi naho ugasanga, there are too many. Kugeza it's practically very hard. Vrema kugira ucumure uba wagiye kubirondera. Anyway, so that was something that we learned along the journey.
Boundaries are good. I think that people see them as a bad thing most of the time. But I remember, actually, if you really want to push this teaching on boundary really further, you can watch a series by Andy Stanley called Boundaries. And I remember he was talking about a highway and how on a highway you have like these guardrails. And I remember one day I had an accident. It was in the winter in the States, and my car like turned and then hit one of the, guardrail. And I remember thinking, wow, I'm so glad that there is a guardrail. So remember to plan as a couple. Remember to have guardrails. Remember to talk about, difficult things, weaknesses or threats to a couple. Talk about opportunities. Remember that you win together, you lose together. Remember that you have to have a common vision, right?
Yes.
And that if you're going through something that's hard, hey, maybe it's just for a season and you need to just hang in there for now and things will eventually get better. So
Yes.
do you have anything else you want to add?
I think we covered different topics today, and let's just leave it here for now. But I hope you have a blessed rest of the week.
Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, please share with a friend if you found this helpful and interesting. And if you have not grabbed a copy of my devotional, The Woman of Faith, please feel free to go on Amazon and grab your copy. And we just thank you so much. And if you have any questions, leave them in the bottom in the comment section.
Yes, we'd love to see your questions and we may answer them.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.